So tonight's episode, guys, if you're watching, this is going to be recorded so we can put this out. I did put it out on a bunch of the bridal pages as well this evening, so hopefully we can, maybe captivate some of that audience as well. But just so everybody knows who's watching this, Jeff and I get on here once a week. Normally it's on Thursday nights, but our schedules are a little crazy, so we decided to do a Monday night. And we're just going to talk weddings and events. And we're going to, 25 years of doing this, we have a lot of things that, a lot of knowledge that we can help, whether it be in the DJ world or in any other world. And we can put you in touch with some awesome people that can help you for not only your wedding, but any type of event you have. In this case, Chuck owns a business that's called My Replay Kit. Um, and I had not heard of this until just a little bit ago, as I was working with Alex at the refinery,
Mhm.
and he told me a little bit about this. So that was what prompted me to reach out to you on social media, just kind of get involved with you. I don't know a whole lot about it. So if you guys are watching, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to let Chuck tell you a little bit about the business that he owns, what he does, and then Jeff and I will ask him some questions. If you guys have questions on here, you're more than welcome to type them in. And you guys can then ask questions, and he'll provide the answers and things like that.
Mhm.
So Chuck, without further ado, man, I'll turn it over to you, Chuck, with My Replay Kit. So tell us a little bit about your business, man.
Yeah. So what it is it's a completely unique spin on event and wedding video.
Hmm.
I ran a studio for over a decade. I mean, we filmed over 450 weddings all over Kentucky, Southern Indiana, Southern Ohio, Tennessee, and loved it. Typically, they were pretty big weddings, so $2,000 up to 7,500,
Hmm.
depending on what people were looking for. Kind of cost prohibitive in some cases. Stepped away from the wedding industry for a little while and decided to get back into it. I love it. I love
Yep.
events. I love being able to work video, capture those moments, and really just came out with a completely unique spin. So My Replay Kit is where the bride and the groom actually rent a kit. It's a replay kit. It's got 2 or 3 cameras in it. It's got little audio recorders. And the short version is they actually record the wedding themselves. Not the bride
Okay.
and groom, but bridal party. One can go with the bridesmaids, one with the groomsmen, or it can be the aunt, uncle, cousin. I say nerd because I am one. The nerd that's going to be there with the phone or a camera in hand anyways.
Okay.
And it's really giving people the ability to capture the wedding from a totally unique perspective that
Okay.
is more personal than anyone else stepping in and trying to identify, who an aunt is, who a grandma is, who really, really matters the most. Because the film crew that shows up that day, they don't know. They can be told, they can remove it later, but they don't know who to film and how to capture that
Sure.
moment. So it's completely personal, and it's from people within the bride and groom circle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So so if I'm having an event or a wedding or whatever, and I don't want to pay the cost of a videography
Mm-hmm.
person to come out, I can call you. You ship me the devices,
Yep.
right? And then I
Ship or drop
just
off. Yes.
and then I just put a couple people in charge. Hey, film everything you can, right?
It really is that easy. There was the initial hesitation whenever I came up with this and kind of formulated and laid everything out last year. The number one question was, well, who are they going to have do it? Who are they going to have do it? And I can think all day long, well, they could have, like I said, the aunt that was a photographer, the uncle that just loves filming stuff. The idea of giving these cameras to a 15-year-old in today's time, you will probably get one of the most incredible, unique, well shot, sun flares, slow motion videos that you could possibly imagine. Like it's this generation that it's just natural to. So yeah, you just hand those cameras out and let them go. It's not spending the whole day filming by any means. People are
Okay.
like, well, how do they know what to film? If you had your phone, what would you film? Bride putting on the dress, check. Grandma coming in, everyone kind of having like a big soiree around her, check. processional, dances, all those little moments, cake cutting. Everybody just kind of naturally knows. All you got to remember to do is hit record.
Okay. So then what happens with that? I mean, I have a pretty good idea because I've researched you, but tell everybody. So I've filmed my event, I've filmed a wedding or whatever, and what happens then?
Yeah, and this is really the part that's absolutely incredible. I haven't gotten to the price yet, and you know what it costs, but they return the kit, and then within 3 weeks, what they're going to get is they're going to get a 3 to 5 minute highlight video. That is the piece and part of social media and kind of the memory of the wedding that lives forever, be it Facebook, Instagram. I think TikTok is back. Let me check my watch.
Yeah, it is.
You know, so you know, they get that 3 to 5 minute highlight, and that really is one of the biggest expenses outside of paying for the videographers and a different type of equipment. They get the highlight, they get a full ceremony. I tell them, I'm like, as long as you got 2 cameras, hit record and point it towards the ceremony, they will have a ceremony. It's got little audio recorders. As long as you turn it on, when you hit record on the cameras, it automatically starts recording on the audio device. Just like
So they
anyone
wear
else would
that
do
audio
with wireless
device?
mic. Yeah, I have one on right now. So, you know, a groom, it wouldn't be showing at all. They can drop it in a pocket. The officiant, same thing. As long as it's turned on, it's going to sync to the cameras.
Okay.
And you are going to have audio just like it's a Sennheiser and some of those $500, $800 mic sets.
Uh-huh.
The audio is incredible.
Okay.
That's
So,
pretty neat.
yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So they drop the kid off, highlight video, ceremony, and then really one of the kickers is because they filmed it, they're also going to get the raw footage. The raw footage alone, either don't get it with a professional videographer, like it's just not an option, or you're typically going to pay $250 to $500 for that.
Okay.
So where all this rolls back in, you get the cameras, the mics, the stands for the cameras, and it's $750 for a 2-camera kit. It's really at a price point and a quality level that I don't think anyone else can match, and I haven't seen this being done anywhere else in the country.
Wow,
And the people I've spoken to haven't seen anything like it. So
Hadn't
totally
seen or
unique
heard that.
experience.
It's very unique. I guess my
Yeah.
question is what made you come up with this unique idea? What happened to make you go, I got it?
Yeah, it's a big layer of things. I was in the wedding industry, and I've done a few different facets all the way back to 2006. And I did have the idea of kind of an initial iteration of this, but the technology wasn't there, so it didn't happen. And I will say that the cameras that we use are DJI Osmo Pocket 3s.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it is a really high quality gimbal style camera. I've got one right here. Seems pretty simple. What this allows you to do, it's got a full 1-inch sensor that puts it in pro level as far as what it can capture, how it can handle light, and just the amount of color information and everything. So the equipment finally caught up to the idea from a decade and a half earlier.
Sure.
And I wanted to get back into weddings and video. I always loved doing it, but the worst thing about it was who wants to work 30, 40 hours Friday through Sunday?
Right.
And then that was just a common thing. So this kind of gives a unique opportunity to be part of it, to capture people's days, and to not be working 30, 40 hours Friday through Sunday, and then working the rest of the week to edit.
Right.
So
Right.
unique
Right.
spin.
Cool.
So they have the microphones that come with them that the bride or the groom or whoever would wear as well.
Yeah, and I don't have the new ones. I literally just got it in yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know if this does well to show the size. So
Is that the new DJI ones?
not the new. So this is the DJI Mic
Okay.
2. It's absolutely incredible. It is. If anyone does photography, you've got JPEG and you've got RAW.
Yep.
They finally have audio to where you can record it in RAW. Like you don't have to worry about the exact levels and everything. It literally can pick up a 30 dB down signal.
Nice. Okay.
And it doesn't clip. So that's awesome to get 2 of these. Once again, as long as it's turned on, when you hit record on the camera, it syncs them up. And you've got amazing audio. The flip side is the new one, about the size of my thumb.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
literally just came in. I've got it set up charging, and they come in black and white. And they're tiny. They're about the size of a
Yep.
quarter and about a quarter of an inch thick.
Right.
So it's not
Right.
something that sticks out, doesn't even have to be showing at all. As long as it's down in the pocket, it's going to be able to capture. And usually
Okay.
that's miking the officiant and the groom, during the ceremony. And then if there's going to be someone, they're going to give a welcome speech or something like that, throw a mic in their pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So you could get, what'd you say, one camera or two?
Two.
Two.
Any of
Two.
the event kits are 2 cameras. It's just a safety thing, and plus it's variety.
Yeah.
Typically what we do is the cameras are set, everything's already preset. You take the camera, anytime I do a show or anything and people are hesitant, they're like, how's this work?
Right.
I hand it to them and I say, take your thumb, do a little clockwise motion. That kicks it, turns it on. And that's just how easy
Yeah.
it
And
is.
then it's a one button press to record.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got that same thing, man. That thing takes some awesome video as well. So
It does, and I'm able to put probably 15,000 hours of wedding specific editing behind that, and the filters and the different sets, the stabilization that's built in, along with what I can do, kind of punch up the picture a little bit. Being a good editor is more about knowing what not to do than using what you have available,
right.
so that you focus
Right.
on the image and not the Instagram wash and light leaks coming in and everything else. So that is just, it's true to the moment, and you can watch the video. So,
Okay.
and the kits, try that on over. This is the whole kit.
Oh, wow.
Everything they
Okay.
need. 2 cameras, 2 microphones, 2 small stands like you saw on that. And then the one kicker was originally I was going to include full-size tripods. More weight, more cost in shipping, more cumbersome. So we've got these, and they go up to 40 inches.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the reality is you set it in a pew, you set it on a chair, you can set it on the floor, you can set it on a table, set it on a ledge on the side, and you're going to be able to get that eye level shot, and it's super lightweight and compact. And you get 2 of those as well.
So do they pay for the shipping to come back to you?
Haven't mentioned price. Hopefully, someone stayed on and was like, how much is it? $750. And that includes everything.
Oh, wow.
It is the 2 cameras, the 2 audio recorders, the stands. It includes shipping or drop off as needed, but it also includes that editing on the back end. And that's where people are like, it includes the editing, and it does. Yes. For the highlight video, the ceremony, and then they also are delivered the raw footage.
Wow.
That's pretty neat. Now, how long have you have you had the business, and how long have you been in the editing and the photo industry?
Yes. So it was conceptualized, game planned, and kind of developed last year. Did a real soft launch in November, filmed a few events, learned a lot. I will say everything was successful. Everything that was filmed kind of exceeded expectations, which was really nice, but also learned like where someone may have a question or an issue that can be just addressed through training video or a quick conversation. And then we've really just jumped into it this month as far as attending shows, newsletters, and really starting the marketing and everything for it. So I expect for it to just really take off this year, and we're able to do up to 5 kits in a weekend.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty impressive.
So,
I do have another question. Sorry, Tom.
Go ahead.
If someone's at an event and something happens, something goes crazy, it's doing something, they didn't know how to turn it off, or they didn't know how to get it back to where it was. I don't know, something nuts. Is there a way they can get a hold of you on the spot the night of and just for technical support?
Yes, there's one of 2 people that are always on call.
Okay.
So that if there's an issue, they can make a quick phone call, they can send a text. The reality is where the cameras go out with a very specific set of settings to just ensure maximum success, quality, and everything else. Worst case scenario, go into the menu, hit reset. And from basic settings, we can still get what we need. We're going to see it more on our end as far as the back end and editing than they would, because it's still going to turn on. It's still going to record an incredible image. It automatically syncs to the mics. The other thing is, that's one of the reasons that we do 2 cameras. So if something literally happens, they drop and break one moments before the ceremony, they've still got a camera. They're still going to set it up in the back, and with it filming 4K and deliveries usually in 1080p, It can be cropped, and it still looks like a couple of different cameras.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey,
So question I've got for you, man, is of course because I use that DJI at my
Yeah.
events, and Emily asked a great question, so we'll start there, and then I'll come back to mine. But how is the quality in low lighting?
So if you compare it to a phone, the sensor is 4 times larger, generically 4 times more light. It also records in kind of a system that cell phones typically don't have, so there's a little bit more flexibility.
Right.
When I get the image back, it actually doesn't have a whole lot of color in it, and we go in and add it.
Okay.
But what we're able to do and tie in from where I've got 10,000, 15,000 editing hours for weddings, I've got software that can take images, and always have been able to take images that aren't ideal and make them look good.
Sure.
Something that is just almost so dark, which is not ideal. More light's always better for video and photo.
Sure.
But we can recover an image. I mean,
Okay.
if I'm talking to someone and I'll ask them, like, what's the setup going to be at the reception? If they told me it was just strictly candlelight, I'd say, you know what, this probably is not ideal.
Right.
But that's
Right.
also going to apply to my $3,000 video camera.
Sure.
You have to have light for video, but it can work really well with a good mood and ambiance. It's going to pick up what you want.
Right. Right. Well, like I said, man, I use one. So once, for dance floor, and once the lights go off, but our lights come on, I mean, it gives them great quality. The camera is tough. I mean, it's especially for what it is. But I guess my question is this, and maybe this is just more for me as well. But if you set it up towards the back for a ceremony, that camera, it only has so much zoom. So if you don't mess with that, you just set it up. I mean, you've got a far reach for the bride and groom. How are you guys pulling that in to get that up close of the bride and groom?
Yeah, and if you go to the websites, you'll see examples from where it was a 2-camera shoot.
Yep.
And literally, they just set it up to the front right. It's, I don't know, 30 feet off to the side.
Right.
And it's the full bridal party, but then it's also just maid of honor to the best man. And it's zoomed in.
Okay.
I was speaking to someone at the show on Sunday, and I asked them where they were getting married at, and St. Louis Bertrand. I mean, that's a big church.
Yeah.
If you set it up in the back, it's going to be this like almost fisheye style shot.
Yeah.
You really want it within 50 to 100 feet, probably 50 to 75 feet is going to give you that nice wide shot that we're able to crop in and make it look like 2 or 3 cameras.
Okay.
We can even take that wide shot and with editing, pan across the entire 7-person, each side bridal party, and the camera's just sitting there. There's so much work on the back end to make it look like more cameras than just 2, to make it look like someone would. We told them, set one up in the back, that's your safety camera, and we can still make that look like it's 2, 3, 4 different shots.
Gotcha. Okay. That's cool. So My Replay Kit has a website?
It does, and it is myreplaykit.com.
Okay. And then of course Facebook, Instagram, I know you're on those as well.
Yep. Yes, we are.
So if somebody's having a birthday party, graduation, a retirement party, whatever the case may be, a wedding, anything at all, you rent the kit from you, a 2-camera kit, $750. That includes all the editing. They give it to a couple people. They record the whole thing. They ship it back to you, and in 2 to 3 weeks, they have a highlight video, all for $750, right?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
And as you mentioned, like birthday parties and some of the other events, there's actually a page that's got 20 different things you can film. Graduations, retirements. You really don't want to spend maybe $1,000 or $2,000 to bring someone out, but you also don't want someone with a cell phone pulling it up and taking calls in between.
Yep.
So there are smaller packages that are 2-camera, and I didn't mention this. It's 90 minutes of record time on each video camera.
Okay.
And those are $450.
Okay.
So there's even a less expensive option based on time. And there's 4 hours on these, and I've had people say, well, my wedding day is 12 hours. I really have. I've been to a few weddings. People come back with typically 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like there's still quite a bit of leniency in there. It's an hour before the ceremony, just prep, hanging out, getting ready on each camera. an hour-long ceremony. If it's a Catholic ceremony, the hour in between ceremony and the reception, all the photos hanging
Yep.
out, everyone on the trolley, and then you got an hour left still for grand entrance, cake cutting, toast. So yeah, there's options from 450 to 750 on the wedding side.
Okay.
And then if it's something simple, we recorded an interview with a politician.
Mhm.
Someone needed a camera. They didn't have $1,000 budget. They set the camera. They get 2 mics, and they did a back and forth interview. Looked amazing, all edited. Cut that down, and some of those can be as inexpensive as 150. So
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
depends on what they want done on the backside.
Okay.
I can customize it to what they want delivered.
All right.
So
Nice.
Okay.
So if I wanted to do my short, how do you say it, boudoir pictures or something like
There-
that, and
Oh.
there you
I could
go.
get that,
Yes.
and I could do that,
Yeah.
and send it in to you, and you'll
Hey.
edit that for me.
Yeah, you need to make sure you buy the insurance, which can be added on just in case something breaks in the lens. But
Right,
yes,
right.
you can record
Yeah,
the boudoir
okay,
yeah.
session,
all right.
absolutely.
Just curious. Just wanted to see if that was an option.
It is, and it is very versatile. I mean, kids' graduation, at schools, I professionally have recorded those before, and they're big events, but it also costs 6-7 times what getting 2-3 of these cameras would be, and handing it to just really capable underclassmen and having that personalized approach.
Nice.
That's wild. Yeah. What an idea. And you've been around the filming industry for years, right? I mean, the company's a year old or whatever, but you've done this for a
Yeah.
long time. Videography and stuff for a long time.
Oh
So-
yeah. I mean, I started in 2006, and what we had back then, I say I ran the largest wedding video studio in Kentucky.
Right.
We were doing 70, 90 weddings a year. If someone wanted a 15-foot crane, we didn't rent one; we had one. I mean, I've sent people to Chicago for Steadicam training. We had motorized sliders before everybody had one. I've seen a lot with weddings, and that's where, like I said, the technology finally matched the idea and the concept as far as what can be delivered.
Yeah.
And it's taken a little bit of work to figure out exactly what needs to go in a kit. Originally, I was going to have some lighting. One, it's going to add an extra step to it that's going to make it look artificial. Natural lighting's always better, or
Absolutely.
the actual scene lighting. So we took that out. Originally, it was going to be like a full-size tripod available. It didn't make sense. And then found an alternative that was lighter, quicker, easier, and more comfortable for people.
Less
Gotcha.
moving parts, the better, right?
Yeah, it really is. And that's, I will say that the unique part has been whenever I tell people about it or hand them a camera at a show. I mean, I've met hundreds of people just in the last few months. I mean, it clicks within like 15 or 20 seconds. Literally, someone will grab it, and I'm like, could you film her putting her dress on and save her $2,000 on her wedding day? No one has ever said no.
Right.
And, it's like, what else would you film? And they just start naming things. And, kind of a proof of concept and extended use. But it's all about tweaking, and the fact that we've got it down to a case that's, 15 by 13 inches. And realistically, you got to take out the camera, and you got to keep up with the little microphone.
That's wild.
That's it.
Fantastic.
So
What a unique idea. That's pretty cool.
thank you.
Hey, do you have
Thank you.
one of those videos that you have where you can email that to me so I could share that out?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. If you don't
yeah.
mind to email that to me, and then that way I could share it. I love the idea, man. I mean, that's just to think that you can do this, and I mean, there's a lot of folks that don't do video just because they don't want to spend, they don't want that price tag. So what an amazing little option for someone, and the pricing and including all of the editing. Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Cool.
So, well, like I said, man, Alex was a big fan of it. We were setting up over there a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, and he asked me if I had heard of this, and I was like, man, I don't think so.
Nobody
And
has
told
at
me
this
a little bit
point.
about it. And so yeah, so very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So they can book you. I mean, we'll send out. I'll do a little recap. We'll send out your email, Facebook, all that stuff. I'll get all that info out. But Chuck, my replay kit is on Instagram, Facebook. website. And, if you're tuning in late, it's just a way for you to film your special event, whether it be a wedding, a birthday, a graduation. It's a way to film that and not have to edit it, and for an amazing price. So,
Mhm.
like I said, this will go out to some of the bridal pages that I'm in,
Yeah,
and we'll try to get as much of the noise out there as we can for you, man.
I appreciate it.
Cool.
It's really starting to gain traction. So it's
Yeah.
nice. The concept is matching people's expectations, and there's just that kind of understanding of who's going to do it. Whenever we're at a show and I'm speaking to someone, probably a third of people within 2 or 3 minutes will tell me who they would have film. Like it's not that
Oh
big of
yeah.
a barrier. They're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is perfect for so and so, and they're happy to do it. I mean, I need to start adding a title card at the end, giving credit to the person that manned the camera, because they're the one that filmed it.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Pretty
That
neat.
may be that may be something I talk to you about too, man. It might be something worth for me to like I said, I've got one of the things, but it might be nice just for me to just have you send me the couple cameras or a camera, and just have some of my guys record us during the
Mhm.
event, record the dancing, and then send it to you
Yeah.
and let you create us a little promo video or something out of it. So
Yeah,
that might be something I look to,
That is a good
maybe
idea.
have you do for me. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
absolutely.
Cool.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
You know, honestly, film the wedding day. The reality is the photographer is always the first choice, and I get that, and it should be. That photo can go up on the wall, and that's what you see every single day from that moment on, and it's incredible. But what I can say, having done so much video, is that nothing will ever take the place of seeing people dance, seeing an embrace, seeing a quivering hand, and just kind of that emotion.
Yep.
And whenever you do hear someone speak, if your father or grandpa welcomes everyone, you're not gives me chills, because you're not going to have that opportunity. So
Right.
get a video, and that's one of the reasons I wanted something that was more accessible. And they weren't spending $3, $4, $5,000, but
Yeah.
it's better than a cell phone, because you're actually going to get a product.
Right.
Think about how many moments are filmed on a cell phone at a wedding, and the bride and groom may see
Never seen.
15 seconds of it, 2 minutes of it. Well, here you go. Something just as personal from all those
Absolutely.
unique angles from the people that you love and invited, and it's actually going to be a delivered product to you,
Yeah.
professionally edited.
Well, and as the years goes on and these couples have kids, and then, just from experience, my kids have asked, when they were younger, to watch the wedding video,
Yeah.
and they've watched it as they were growing up. They just, I don't know what it was. They just loved watching it. So, they've probably seen it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
But so, that's definitely something that I think a video, is on the high list of priorities if if you ask me for weddings as well. So,
Yeah. I've had people tell me that their kids watch it, and it really is. It's, mom is a Disney princess, and they will. There are kids that watch these like it's, Fox and the Hound or any of the new cooler ones. So
right. Yeah,
Fox and
absolutely.
the Hound.
I'm old.
Okay.
I was
So,
getting ready to say.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Classic.
right. It is.
Just
All
doesn't
right,
even
man.
tie in.
Anything else that you want to add before we transition over to Nikki?
No, I'm excited to hear what Nikki has to say, and I just want to thank you, gentlemen, for having me on and talking
Absolutely.
about this. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
So, questions and answers. If you guys have questions, if you're watching this, if you come in later, or if you see this later, always post your questions. We'll definitely make sure we get them answered for you, and we can get you in touch with Chuck and My Replay Kit. An excellent opportunity for you guys to capture your event. Budget friendly. I mean, it's just for what you get and the price. It's an awesome thing. So, so Chuck, thanks so much for hopping on with us. Like I said, if anybody has any questions for Chuck, you can throw them in the comments. We'll get to them here as soon as we get done. But we're gonna switch gears, and we're gonna introduce Nikki, who finally joined us. So, Nikki,
Hey.
thanks for joining.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey. So do you know Chuck?
I've I've seen Chuck at wedding shows. I didn't make it
Yeah.
over to the booth to see what was going on over there, but I did see him. I love that concept because as a planner and coordinator, I get lots of requests for different vendors, and that certainly will be something that I put in my back pocket
Absolutely.
for those folks that are looking for that type of service. I will be referring them right to you because
Great.
that's a great thing, especially for my budget brides,
Mhm.
because I've had so many of them, you know, "Oh, I'd really love to have a video, but I just can't afford it." And, you know, I think that's, even if it is the 450 package and, you know, 90 minutes, you know, because I have a lot of them, they're like, well, I'm just going to have, you know, so-and-so recorded on their phone, just the ceremony, just so I have
Yeah.
it. And that can certainly give them a much better option than cell phone, you know,
Yeah.
coverage for sure. So
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Hey, and
love it.
Chuck, I just got a message. Someone asking me for your website, so it's already working.
Yeah.
So,
MyReplayKit.com.
yep, myreplaykit.com. So, I will be sure to send that message to her back once we're off here. But it's going to cause a buzz. So great ideas, man. Great idea. So can't wait to see how it works out. So, Nikki, if you guys are joining us, this is Nikki. Nikki owns a business called Weddings with Nikki. She is a coordinator in the Kentucky area, and she coordinates, like as Jeff says, she coordinates your entire day. So she is probably, I would have to say, without a shadow of doubt, one of the best in the state. Just because I can't say country because I've never been in any other states, but I have worked with Nikki numerous times. And Nikki does all things coordination. So we're going to let her tell you guys a little bit about herself. But I'm telling you, if you need a coordinator, she is the best in the business. She is on her game from start to finish. And anytime we work with her, it's very easy, very smooth, and she does an amazing job. So, Nikki, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Thanks for adjusting last week to come on tonight instead. But so for anybody that's watching or anyone that watches this later, tell us about Nikki and Weddings with Nikki.
So thank you for having me on tonight. I have been in the wedding industry for 21 years now. So I've definitely been around the block a time or two.
Yep.
I started the business when I was planning my own wedding and kind of in the aftermath of it, thinking, gosh, you know, things could have gone so much smoother in so many ways if I had had a point of contact and didn't have to rely on my poor mother. She ran herself ragged that day, and I thought, you know, my one wish would have been to have my mom around more often to be able to spend that time with her,
Yeah.
as opposed to going, "Hey, where's mom?" And, you know, somebody saying, "Oh, the cake just got delivered. She went to make sure it's in the right spot." So that was really what I thought about when I started my business. I wanted to bring in an element of spoiling. I wanted to take away the stress. I wanted to make sure that every bride felt like an absolute princess on their day, that they didn't have to worry about, oh, my bridesmaids' dresses are a hot mess and they need to be steamed, and who brought a steamer, and oh my gosh. So I just really went in and put a lot of special touches of, you know, thinking about, well, what would I have liked on my day? You know, I wanted to be spoiled. I wanted to have somebody carry around my train and act like I was, you know, the queen elect. And so I really try to bring that into every wedding that we do, and just making sure that, you know, not only are our vendors taken care of and you guys know exactly what you're doing. You know, I have an assistant. She's starting up this year. I used to make all the phone calls and send out all the emails and the timelines. So we're kind of going to a new system there where I still 100% do all the meetings. I'm not willing to hand that over with the expertise and 21 years of experience. I'm definitely the one still doing all those meetings and things like that. But I think that's a very important aspect when, you know, you're double checking every vendor. You know, hey, this is what the bride says she hired you for. I've got the contracts. You know, you're responsible for these things. Are we on the same, you know, time frame? What time are you going to get there to set up? I'm a big proponent of not babysitting. You know, we're all in this business. We're all professionals, and so you know, I think having those conversations up front with each of the vendors is part of that important step that we're all on the same page. We're all working together.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I don't know if you saw it, but I did my, if you're a DJ, and it's kind of just a minute clip where I just tell DJs out there just some advice that I have after, you know, doing this for 24 years. And it's like, and today was coordinators. You know, if you have a coordinator on site for your day, communicate with them before the event and during the event, because it will make everything go a whole lot smoother. You know, so to your point there, absolutely, I think communication with all the vendors is really important there.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
so when you do your coordination, you do everything from start to finish. I mean, like you just said, I mean, you take care of dresses. I mean, it's kind of I guess hard to say what all you do accomplish when you're there, because you do everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much.
Pretty
So
much. So I offer 4 packages to choose from, everything from just a decor setup only. They don't want coordination, they don't want planning. They've hired somebody else for that, or it's not in the budget for that, but they don't want to worry about setting up their decor. So
okay,
that's the silver. There's a very minimal, what I call management day. A lot of people call it day of coordination. You know, really you're kind of managing a chunk of time. So I call it day of management, but it's the same thing. It's basically, that's the gold package. It's 4 hours. They pick that 4 hour chunk of time that they deem the most important for me to come in and take care of. We have some meetings about what we're doing within those 4 hours so that we know exactly what we're handling. They can add in time to that, but there's no planning involved in that. You've got a platinum package. That platinum package is what I call, you know, kind of an all-inclusive minus decor.
okay,
So it is as many meetings as you need with me. It's making sure that we have crossed all of our T's, dotted all of our I's, that I'm taking away the stress, walking through every single step that needs to happen. So when we have that initial meeting, I get to see, like, okay, where are they in this planning process? You haven't done anything? Okay, well, this is what we're going to start with. We need to find our vendors. We need to find these things first. Everything else we can make a decision on later.
sure,
So it's walking them through every aspect of that, going into rehearsal, you know, helping them create that timeline so we can get it out to the vendors. And then day of, we spend about 10 to 12 hours on average. So we start usually within about 2 hours of hair and makeup starting, and then we end our night about an hour after open dance. And then, you know, we leave you in the great hands of our DJs and say, sayonara, we're out.
right,
By that time, they don't need much out of us. We do offer an end of night package to clean up if they want to walk away. You know, we'll come in and do that for them. And then I offer a diamond package that's everything that is platinum plus the decor setup piece. So
Nice.
I've got my
okay,
decor specialist. They'll come in, they'll knock out that decor just as they wanted with those detailed meetings that we have. And then they've still got a coordinator managing that full day for them, making sure that timeline's being met, making sure dresses are ready to go, making sure when a guy loses a button off of their suit and now they're standing there going, well, I got a button, but I don't know. No worries. We got that emergency kit, my friend. We will sew that button on for you.
right,
So, you know, just being there, alleviating that stress, just making sure that everything's smooth,
Cool.
and again, working with our vendors because in all honesty, you know, we're all there for the same reason. We want to
yeah,
make a
Yep.
perfect day for them. And, you
Absolutely.
know, that's what we do.
Yeah. Nikki, if someone is looking for a coordinator, and they're shopping for one, what are some of the questions? What are a couple questions that you would recommend brides ask when looking for a coordinator?
Certainly. Definitely, you know, what are you going to do for me? I mean, that's number one on the list. There are a lot of coordinators out there. We all have you know, our niches. You know, we know, you know, what we want to specialize in, and we all specialize in different things. If you are a bride that, you know, you want your coordinator to make all your phone calls for you, and you want them to hire your vendors, and you want them to make every single little change for you, I'm not your vendor for that. I'm not your coordinator, but I probably know some people that are coordinators that would do that. I'm of the opinion that I think it's important that you build a relationship with your vendors. I think that they're going to work just as hard for you if they know you, as opposed to now they're working for me because I hired
Right.
them for
Right.
you. So I think it's important to kind of know, who you are and what you want and what level. I had a bride reach out to me this past week, and then she sent me a message actually yesterday, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm probably asking stupid questions, but I'm a student, I'm a nursing student, and I'm gonna have very little time. Like, is that gonna be a problem to work with you?" No, because I work at your pace. Yeah, there's things we got to get done, but I'm not going to be the person that's going to hound you. I'm there, I give you a link, and you schedule meetings when you want to. I don't demand that you have to meet with me. Again, I think it's important, Jeff, to go back to your question, what services are you providing me? What is your meeting schedule? Like, do you say that we have to meet this many weeks in advance? What kind of access do I have to you? Do I only get to meet with you, 3 times, or do I get unlimited access to you? Can I text you in the middle of the night and you'll answer me the next morning? Yeah, those are all things that are pertinent. What's your time frame? How long is it going to take you to get back to me? I tell my brides, listen, if it's urgent, you put urgent. That's the first word that you say,
Right.
urgent,
Yeah.
because I'm going to look at that. Now, if you send me something and it's a general question, it might take me 72 business hours or over the weekends. I work on the weekends most of the time, so I'm not typically answering a whole lot of questions.
Sure.
But if I'm working and I see it says urgent, I'm gonna open it up and at least ease your mind as best as I can until I can devote full time to it. So, Jeff, I think it's important for people to know themselves what level of involvement they want from
Sure.
their coordinator, and definitely ask about that, making
It's
sure their
awesome.
needs are met.
Thank you. I think it's so important just setting up those expectations too. When you are talking to them in the beginning, I know we do the same thing when we're talking to our groom and our brides and grooms. Setting up the expectation for what's going to happen the day of, and I think that's so important that you're letting them know what they can expect from you doing that. Go ahead, Todd.
Well, I was going to ask you. So you said something about decor setup. So what does that? Do they supply the decor, or is that something that you can supply as well? Like they give you an idea of, hey, this is what we want our wedding to look like. This is what we want to use, and you supply that, or do they bring the decor and you just set it up and put everything together?
Excellent question. So I do have an inventory of over 500 items
Okay.
for rent. So I do have an extensive decor, inventory. They are welcome to come in, and I set up we'll set up a meeting, usual timing. I have a studio. They'll come in. We'll play with decor. I love to get a Pinterest board or some photos sent to me to kind of get an idea of their vibe, and then we'll set up tables for them. So I look at their vibe. I, put out 2 or 3 tables, throw tablecloths on there, start pulling the decor, getting it set up, so that when they walk in, they can kind of see, oh, well, yeah, we're going to have 3 table setups, and that's the vibe that I liked. I absolutely love it. Or you know what, Nikki? What other candle holders do you have?
Right.
Or what other table numbers do you have? And then we can sit there and play with it and tweak it and make sure it's exactly what they want. Um, to that question, I also will set up their decor. I've had many a bride, they've supplied their own stuff. We have an extensive meeting on what that's going to look like, because we do want to nail that vision for them. You can give me, 15 boxes of decor and say, have fun, and we will. But it may not be your
Sure.
vision.
Yeah.
You may think I know what you want, but I'm not a mind reader. So I like to make sure that, yeah, we're actually talking about what are we doing with the decor you're supplying. I've had other brides who they've got some things, but then they come in and they'll bring those items with them to our meetings, and then they'll finish out with renting from me.
Okay.
And with the silver and the diamond package, they actually get 10% off of their rental price too. So they get
Okay.
a little bonus there.
Okay. And I know that it's not just you that does this. I mean, you've got, because I know you've done multiple. If I'm not mistaken, you do multiple events a night, right?
Yes.
So
So I have a great team. They're absolutely wonderful. I have four coordinators that do work and contract with me, and so yeah, I always say I'm kind of first on the list. If you get the first pick of the date, typically that's going to be me. I do have a family, so I always say, hey, just it might be me. It likely will be me, but if something comes up, I've got two juniors this year, so next year will definitely be maybe some different finagling that happens.
I get it.
You
I
never
get
know.
it. Yeah.
You never know when graduation's going to be set. You
Right.
never know
Right.
when senior trips are going to be met, and so I try to set that expectation with my clients too. Of hey, I've got a great team. You'll meet your team member who's going to lead you. Again, it very well could be me, but yeah, there's times that we've had 5 or 6 events in one
Yeah.
weekend, and we're going everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I thought so. So, and then my next question was going to be, how do you determine if they get you or if they get someone else? Because I get that question a lot. It's like, because we'll do 3 shows a night, but it's like, well, how do I know if I get you or if I get Dave or if I get Trevin or, how do you determine that? And I'm kind of the same way. It's like, look, I take the first dates. If you book us before anybody else, you get me. If not, then it's kind of a toss up of who you might get. So,
Yeah,
but as long as you feel comfortable with your team, as you do, as so do I, then, it's like, hey, you're in good hands. Trust me.
yeah,
So,
you're gonna get a great experience for
yeah.
sure, for
And of
sure.
course,
Cool.
you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook,
Mhm.
you're on all social media from what I've seen. So,
I've been trying my hand at TikTok. I'm not
Mhm.
great at it. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to put things together,
yeah,
but I'm gonna, TikTok is back. I'm gonna try and get a little better this year
yeah,
at playing around with that.
yeah.
But yes, I am on
Yeah.
multiple medias for sure.
Cool.
Okay.
I got a dumb guy question. So
No,
other
no dumb questions, Chef.
I said a dumb guy question. So other than weddings, are there any other events that you could use a coordinator for or that you've done events for?
Yeah, I've done surprise birthday parties. I've done quinceañeras. I've done just a regular sweet 16 parties. Uh, there's been a casino up in Indiana that asked me to come up and take a look around their area, and not only for weddings, but also asked if I'd be interested in doing some corporate events. And so we can coordinate anything: retirement parties, birthday parties, engagement parties, baby showers, corporate events, you name it. I know the name says weddings with Nikki, and that's definitely where we got our start. But when you're in this industry this long and you have somebody that's in need of a band, well, I've got a great list for you. You need somebody that's got a DJ for a corporate party, well, I've got a great list for you. And that's very much how I work. I can pick all day long, but just because I pick them doesn't mean that the client's going to jive well with
Right.
them. So I give them that list
Who's
and say,
who's
hey,
first on that DJ
I
list?
am not telling you, Mr. Jeff. You can just
Oh,
be quiet. I send the whole list out. You're alphabetized. Haha.
Yeah.
Alphabetized. All right. Just kidding. Thank you. Who's what casino are you talking about in
Oh
Indiana?
gosh, it was up in Madison, the one past Madison, off the top of my head.
Uh
It's a Belterra.
Belterra. Belterra.
Yes, it's a
Yeah. Jeff, you
Belterra,
should
and
know.
yeah. Oh, I just can't think of the name of the town that it's in, but I think it was like off the
Vive.
Madison. Yes, Vive. That's it.
So
Yeah,
I
you get
heard.
off of the
What's
Speedway.
the
Yes.
what's the address, Jeff? You probably have the address.
120.
Okay. Do you have a permanent room there? Do they
I do
just know
not.
when you walk in?
I do not. You're making me
I'm
sound
just
bad,
kidding.
Todd.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, good.
Uh,
That's a great answer. Thank you. Again, that was a dumb guy question because I never would have thought of everything that you had said that you could get a coordinator for. Because again, I would have thought weddings, okay, cool, but what I wanted to do a birthday party, what I wanted to do, any of the stuff that you listed, I wouldn't have thought of that. So that's
yeah,
perfect. And that's
definitely.
what we want that's what we want everyone to know is you're not limited to just weddings. Just like with Chuck, you're not limited to just weddings. That you guys can do a little bit of everything. So
Yeah, and just
Thank you.
like Chuck, I offer special pricing for other types of events. You know, obviously, I'm not going to charge you the big package for, you know, something that's a smaller event for
Right.
sure. So,
Sure.
Right. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. What questions do you have, Jeff? Anything else for either one of them?
Well, I asked my dumb guy question to
Right.
both, uh, and I think they've answered a little bit of everything. I think that everyone watching and everyone who's going to watch can see that the passion they both have for their clients
Yeah.
really comes through here, and it shows. And that's the reason you guys are doing what you do. That's the reason you guys are successful at what you do, is just that passion and the want to make sure your client has a successful event. It shows with both of you. So
Yeah.
kudos.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, I've worked with Nikki many times, and she is. I mean, it makes our job easier because Jeff, as you know, as our MCs are trained, we do a little bit of the coordination as well as the MCing. So we try to make sure, if we're not lucky enough to have a Nikki with us, then of course we take care of some of the things. We don't do the whole day, but from the time the reception and everything starts, of course we make sure that we know where the bouquet is for the toss, and make sure the cake table has champagne or whatever they're toasting with, or so we do a lot of that stuff. But having someone like Nikki at your event is a definite plus, because she takes care of
Absolutely.
so much more. And she's kind of the mother of the event. I mean, she handles and goes and gets and does this, so she has a lot of passion for what she does, and she's been doing it for a long time. So she's
that's
very good at what
I,
she does.
it's
So
funny you mentioned kind of the mother of the day, you know, the side mother. I always tell my brides, like, one of my greatest joys is when they friend request me on my personal page, not even
right,
my business page,
yeah,
but
yeah,
my personal page. And I have so many of my couples, and I'm watching them have children, and I'm
yep,
watching their children grow up, and, or I'll see them at another event. And, the next thing I know, I've got, four of my brides, 4 or 5 of my brides. I did an event last January, and I had my current bride, 2 past brides, and one bride that's going to be for 2025. And I'm just like, this is freaking
yeah,
phenomenal. Like,
yeah,
this is what I love. Or
yeah,
I'll see one and they've got that little round belly, and I'm like, oh.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
what I
it's
tell
one of my
everybody.
greatest shows.
I tell everybody that a lot. It's cool to be able to like scroll on my Facebook and see, couples that I did their wedding, and now they're pregnant, they're expecting a child, and then you get to see that child born, and then so it's cool. It
It
is that
is.
I understand exactly what you're saying. It's pretty neat.
It is.
It's pretty neat.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
blessing for sure.
So anything else you want to add?
No, 2025 is, booking solid. I will tell you, I have some dates left. So if you guys are out there looking for a coordinator, I offer a free consultation. You're welcome to go to my website, weddingswithnikki.com, and there's a contact form in there. You fill that out. Let me know you're interested in some package pricing and setting a meeting. We'll get together, see what I can do to help you out and make your day nice and perfect. As stress free as possible. I won't say you'll be stress free, but I will certainly make it as stress free as possible. And I would love to have you guys. And 2026 is already starting to book,
Yes, it
so
Awesome.
is.
it's
Yep.
it's never too early. I get that asked. I actually get that asked a lot. Well, when should I book a planner?
Mhm.
Well, do you want your money's worth out of a planner? Because, I could sit back here and let you do all the work, and then you could ask me 7 months from now, hey, are you still available for my date? I might have it available, and I
Right.
might not. But now
Right.
you've done 7 months worth of work
Absolutely.
on your own.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
you're going to hire one, just bite the bullet and get your money's worth out of it.
Yep. Yep. That's a
Perfect.
great point. And then I always tell everybody, do your research, find your favorites, and book your favorites quick, because if they're your favorite, they're someone else's favorite
Yep.
as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I never thought about that from a coordinating standpoint. Is if I'm going to hire you, if my wedding's in 6 months, I've already planned maybe 6 months worth of work that I've put into it. Now I've got to dump 6 months worth of my vision on top of you, and then start from there. So why not hire you super early and let you take all the heavy lifting?
Yep.
So it's a
Yep.
great point. I never even thought about that. So great
Yeah.
point.
Absolutely. It's awesome.
It's It's amazing how often I get asked that. And, and I think all of us have different, payment schedules and things like that. I try to make it easy. We've got a retainer, the remaining amounts broken into two payments. So, as far as that goes, we're not asking for all the money up front.
Yep.
We're just kind of getting paid for the work that we do in stages. And, I try to make it as easy as possible in the pocketbook because they have a lot of vendors they need to secure. And
Oh yeah.
it
Oh yeah.
happens all at once. So
Yep.
yeah, so
Yep.
that's a big thing.
I agree. I agree.
Totally.
And Chuck, back to you on that, on her point of the payment. How does your payment work? I know we didn't talk about that, but Nikki making that point, do they just pay you a retainer up front to get the equipment, or do they pay you all up front? How do you work on that?
It's a 50-50. It's
Okay.
50% deposit to secure the day, make sure you get a kit,
Okay.
and then it's 50% due 30 days prior.
Okay. Okay. That's how. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Just so everybody knows. So,
Cool.
all right. Anybody want to add anything before we wrap this thing up?
I do real quick.
Yeah.
I've been at hundreds of weddings, and for anyone that's that's watching this and is going to get married, it is a part-time job, and it doesn't matter how far out you start, whether it's a year and a half or a year or 6 months. That last 30 days,
That's crazy.
having a planner is so incredibly helpful
Yeah.
to be able to sort and manage, because no matter where you start, everything starts compressing towards the end. It's not going
Absolutely.
to get easier, but a planner can make it so much easier for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great
I
point.
love that because I actually offer a 30-minute call on one of my meetings, and I always tell them, I'm like, if you just need to vent, just say, Nikki, I need a vent session. I'm booking a 30-minute, and then like I'll hold the phone and listen to you, and whatever you need to say, you just get it out. I will take it, and that way you're not making your fiance mad. You're not making mom mad. I'll keep my lips
Yep.
sealed. It's all right here.
Yep.
And then I'll make you feel better about everything that's going on, tell you you're going to be
Absolutely.
okay, and then we'll get back on
Yep.
track. So yeah, I even offer that 30-minute, like I got it. Yeah, I got to yell at somebody. I'm going to yell,
Todd,
go for
I
it.
need a vent session.
Yeah. I'm busy.
Jeff, you can pay me for your
Yeah.
vent session. You know what?
There you
I'll
go.
do it
Call
for
Nikki.
free.
She'll
I'll
let
let
you
you
vent
do
to
it for
her.
free. Just call
It's all
me.
going to be about Todd, so I'm just warning you.
Oh, poor
It'll be longer than
Todd.
10 minutes.
Oh
So,
Lord. Well, listen, we'll wrap this thing up. I want to thank everybody for joining. Like I said, we do this thing weekly. We're gonna have different vendors on. Chuck with My Replay Kit and Nikki with Weddings with Nikki. Both great people for you guys to put on for your event. If you need to video it, a great option with My Replay Kit and Chuck. I mean, just unbelievable. So we'll post all the information for that. And then if you need someone to take the stress off of you for the entire day of your event, Nikki is the lady that does all of that. So I appreciate you guys joining us. I appreciate the ones that stuck around and watched the whole thing. We try to keep this to an hour just because I know, if you're just sitting and watching, it does kind of, take some time. So we appreciate you guys watching. If you've replayed this and you have questions, by all means, drop them in the comment section and just tag, at My Replay Kit or at Weddings with Nikki. And if I see it, I'll make sure that they get the questions as well. But you guys check them out. The great options for your guys' events. I want to thank everybody for joining. Jeff, thanks for hopping on here with us as well. And I think that's it. I mean, we'll be back next week with another one. But Chuck, thank you so much for joining, man. I really
Chuck,
appreciate it. And Nikki, as
thank you.
always, good to see you. Good to
Nikki?
talk to you. And
You as well.
thanks for joining. So
Hey, one more thing to add. I feel like
yeah.
I'm a Brady Bunch right now because like I'm looking at all
All
four
right.
of them.
Right? Because this way.
Yeah, I know.
All-
We didn't try this. When you were saying, hey, I can't get on, I thought, shoot, I never thought that we can't have, maybe it's just 2 or 3 that you can have on there. So I'm glad that this worked
I
out. I
think it
don't know how many we can
actually
have.
caps at 3. I may be wrong.
Okay. Well, this may be our max. So,
Hey, actually, we'll put this out here real quick, guys. If you're not doing anything this Wednesday, every Wednesday night, we host Actually, this week it's going to be regular trivia at Harry's down on the river in Jeffersonville. So it starts at 7 o'clock. So grab some friends, grab your teams if you ever want to do trivia. Every other week we do Family Feud. So this week is actually trivia. Next Wednesday will be Family Feud. So come on down if you're watching, or even if you guys want to come join us,
Game on.
then come on by.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Good
All right.
talking to you guys. We'll push it out there as always, and we'll see you guys soon.
Sounds
Thanks for
All
joining, guys.
right.
great.
Thank you.
Take
Thanks.
care.
All right.
Bye.
See y'all.